What's going on, guys? It's Cliffy here. Welcome into another episode of my New Zealand Reborn Career Mode in International Cricket Captain 2017. Today we are playing the first, I'm not sure how many one-day internationals we are actually playing, but the first one-day international against the West Indies. We swept the Test Series 3-0, and that was on the back of some very impressive form from our all-rounders. Our guys in the middle order did I don't even know what I'm trying to say there. An absolute awesome job is what they did. Corey Anderson in the runs, Colin de Grandhomme in the wickets, Mitchell Santner in the wickets. So things are looking very good in that regard. We have made a few changes to this side today that we will roll through in just a quick wee second. So no Martin Guptill, which, you know, for him not to be playing in a one-day international or any limited overs game for New Zealand, very, very surprising. He, however, is not in any good form, so he has been dropped. Kane Williamson is actually opening for us today, which is a bit unusual for Kane, but it's a job that he will look to go and take on with great responsibility. Nisha Mins, we've got a lot of all-rounders in the side again, which worked very well for us, I think, in our... Whenever we had our last limited over series, did work very well. Corey Anderson, as I said, the man who was on absolute fire in the Test Series, hoping that he can do it here again today. Jimmy Neesham, Colin Munro bowling his medium paces, and we do have two spinners in the side today as well, in the form of Mitchell Santner and Ish Sodhi being given a run today as well. And I don't know what my mouse is doing there. That was very, very strange. But he is being given a run today. We've got twin spinners, and that is a great catch from Latham. He had a very good Test Series as well, both behind the stumps and with the bat as well, which is what we like to see. I'm going to bring in the first of those spinners right now. We're going to bring Ish Sodhi, and hopefully they can go and get the job done. Colin Munro. So as I said, we are really spoilt for choice when it does come to bowling options here today. So hopefully it's not going to hinder us in our batting efforts. We have done a very good job with the ball so far, a very economical start. And I'm just hoping that Ish Sodhi can go and get us some wickets, because otherwise his place in the side is going to be looking, you know, a bit scratchy and a bit, you know, a bit funny. He's a guy who I really do want to try and bring into this New Zealand side and really do want to try and use him where I can, because he can be such a good player on his day. And Colin Munro is another guy as well. Going back, I think it was a few episodes ago when we were playing limited overs cricket, he was just absolutely smashing it, both with the bat and with the ball. I think he was just taking wickets for absolute fun. And Sodhi is actually bowling quite well here today. He has been unlucky not to pick up anything, but I think that is all that we are going to see from Ish here today. As I said, plenty of bowling options, and the way things are going, we really do want a breakthrough sooner rather than later, because Power's just gone and passed his 50. I'm going to bring back Tim Southee, because we know he has been absolutely incredible for us. I think it was in the Champions Trophy, actually. Just incredible, incredible numbers that he did manage to go and put up. Surprisingly, James Neesham is the only player that has gone and taken a wicket for us before that from Corey Anderson, and he is back on fire. That is what we like to see. A fit and firing Corey Anderson is a very dangerous sign for a lot of international teams around. I think if Corey Anderson was fit and he was firing with both bat and ball and limited overs cricket and Test cricket, it would be an absolute sight to behold. So hopefully he can go and do that. I'm going to continue on with him. Haven't used Mitch Santner today as of yet. I'm still deciding whether I go and bring him in. The seam-up bowlers are seeming to get... Well, they're getting the job done at the moment. So I'm going to probably look to try and stick with them. And we have done an absolute awesome job of containing this West Indies batting lineup, it must be said. We haven't picked up wickets. I mean, we've only picked up 2 wickets, which is a little bit of concern. You know, heading in against, you know, a higher ranked nation. I mean, West Indies are 9th in this game at the moment. You know, heading up against someone like an Australia, an India, or South Africa, if we don't take wickets like we have in this game, then we could be in for a little bit of trouble. Just for the fact that partnerships have been able to be built, and they've gone pretty well. We have just got to run out there, so we get a little bit lucky. With that one there, but luck is sometimes something that you have to take. We have found edge after edge, it seems to be the case. It almost feels like this is an episode of my Don Bradman bloody career mode, where we're just finding edges, but they are just not carrying to the fielders, which is a real shame, real dying shame. But Benny Wheeler, there we go, coming back at the death, getting rid of the dangerous Kyron Pollard as well. And Ben Wheeler is a strange one for me. He's a guy who I don't really like using at the death. He's not used a lot at the death for New Zealand in limited overs cricket. More of a guy who will bowl up top for you and will almost, not always bowl right the way through, but he will bowl majority of his overs very early in the piece. Kieran Powell gone for 88 off 131. A real anchor in this West Indies side here today, it must be said. And they are probably, I don't think they're going to make 200 here, especially with the way things are going. And Benny Wheeler has got it on an absolute string, it must be said, at the moment. There's 5 overs left to go, which actually works out perfectly the way that I've planned things. We are going to see Corey Anderson finishing things off alongside Timmy Southee. And hopefully those two can be good. How good has Tim Southee been today? He hasn't been in the wickets, but before this over, 8 overs, no maidens, none for 16. So he gets rewarded with a wicket there, and that is what we like to see. So I think the whole bowling group today has been very, very good. Ish Sodhi was unlucky, probably not playing on a pitch that really suits his bowling a whole lot. But the whole bowling unit has been very, very good. Ben Wheeler obviously up the top. James Neesham got that breakthrough that we needed. Corey Anderson has come back well, bowling at the death, and he has only gone for 2 in the final over. So West Indies bat through their 50 overs. It feels like we're back in the bloody 1970s where only 192 has been scored inside 50 overs. So we do need to be careful because the overhead conditions are in favour of the West Indies at the moment. It is pretty overcast. That does mean that the ball is going to swing. And I was talking Latham up beforehand saying how good he had done in the Test series. He's gone and only made 3 here. And, oh my God, Henry Nicholls, what are you doing? What are we doing, boys? I was saying that we did play a lot of all-rounders today, which could potentially come back to hinder us in the batting chase. So I'm hoping that's not the case. Kane Williamson, or basically he opened, and he may as well have opened because he was in, well, even if he was batting first drop, he would have been in basically in the second over anyway. So that's not too much of a concern. I think the one thing that is going to probably work in our favour in this game is that I think the West Indies are actually playing quite a lot of spinners. So they've got Roston Chase, Sunil Ryan, and I think there's another guy as well. I think a left-arm spinner whose last name starts with W from memory. So that is one thing I think that we do have in our favour, is that there are a lot of spinners that are being used by the West Indies, and they're not really utilising the overhead conditions at the moment. So, but we do, at the end of the day, we want to win. We've got Anderson, Neesham, Munro, Santner as our basically 5 to 8. So those are our guys that we really want coming in, you know, inside the last 10, 15 overs. They're guys that we want there to be hitting. Here's the left-arm spinner that I was talking about. But yeah, really those guys, we want them in 10, 15, even 20 overs time, just so they can go and obviously play themselves in a little bit and then go and unleash. So that is what we're going to look to try and do. Williamson and Taylor looking to try and forge a partnership here, which is what they're doing at the moment. It is quite good that we aren't chasing that many because this chase has actually proved to be somewhat difficult, and Williamson does manage to nab himself a 50. But as we can see, the run rate is getting up towards 5, which it's not that bad. But Ross Taylor, 28 of 74 deliveries, so really needs to start converting a few of those dots into singles, into twos, and picking up the odd boundary here and there as well, because otherwise we are going to make it very difficult on those hitters that are coming in later on in the piece, and there's 15 overs left to go, so I think it is just time. I honestly think it's time that we just start to hit. I think we really need to, especially Ross Taylor. I mean, 37 off 93 deliveries. Roscoe, what are you doing? I don't think I've seen Ross Taylor play a Test innings this slow, let alone a one-day international innings. So, but I guess he has done his part. That is the build-up and the formula that we do have with this one-day side. We do pack it with a lot of all-rounders. You know, possibly in the next game, one of them could drop out with Martin Guptill come back into the side. But it still leaves you essentially 6, 7, and 8. Sometimes even 9. I mean, Tim Southee can bat down there. He can give it a whack. It really does leave those guys that are in your middle to lower order. Again, really just wanting them to come in the 10th to 15 overs to go. And that way they can just go out, play themselves in for a couple of balls, and then just get out there and give it a whack and chase it down quite comfortably. And I'm hoping that they're not going to be required here today. I'm hoping that it is going to be the Kane Williamson and Ross Taylor show. Hopefully Ross Taylor can get that run rate up and going, man, because, as I said, that is extremely slow for a player of his quality. He has gone and just passed 50. It's come off 109 deliveries, though. And I'm just going to hazard a guess that that is probably his slowest one-day international 50 that he has ever scored. It is probably up there with one of the slowest of all time. So we're inside the last 10 overs here, boys, and we do need 46. So we're not out of the woods just yet, but we do have 2 set batsmen in at the crease. You would have to say that things are looking pretty good for New Zealand at this stage. So we just need to make sure, really, that we don't cock this up, because that would be an absolute embarrassment. There's 3 overs left to go, 13 runs left to get, so you'd have to say that things are firmly in New Zealand's favour, and those back-to-back boundaries from Ross Taylor are definitely going to help. In fact, he's going to go back-to-back, would you believe, boys? And, oh, give me another one. That is back-to-back boundaries by Ross Taylor to finish the game off. Kane Williamson, I believe, for the second time in this career mode series, we're only 9 episodes in, has fallen just short of 100 when they have been in a chase. But New Zealand win by 8 wickets. Probably, to be fair, we shouldn't have made it that hard on ourselves, but it was, the overhead conditions didn't really suit batting, really suited the swing bowling, and we did have to go and try and play it out, which is exactly what we did. Targeted the spinners, and then targeted the bowlers towards the end. Didn't need that explosive middle order as we win the first of 5 one-day internationals, boys. We will be back with the 5th one-day international, just going through how everything has played out in this series to date so far. But I'm going to wrap things up there, guys. Do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to leave a like. If you are new, remember to hit that subscribe button. Social media links can be found below in the description. If you do want to chat, make sure you go and hit me up down there. Until next time, ka kite anō. See you soon.